and how we can write the function. First one, what is meant by function? So generally, what is meant by function? When you want to organize something in an event, then we can call it as a function. So in every event, we have some instructions or guidelines to complete the event successfully or the function successfully. So here in the computer terminology, function is called a self-contained block of statement. Self-contained block of statements. So means if you have multiple statements that are in a specific place, we can call it as a function. So a self-contained block of statement. So for example, if I want to do addition of two numbers, then first what I have to do, first I have to take first number, then I have to take the second number, and I have to add the both number and to be stored in the third variable. Finally, I have to display the result of the operation. So what we are doing here, we are grouping all the statements that are related to the specific operation into a single unit. This is nothing but called a function. A function is a self-contained block of statements. Then what is the use of writing the functions? Why you have to write the functions? When you write a function, we can call that function a number of times. So means in some cases, we'll do our regular activities. So every time it is too difficult to write the same code again and again and again. So we may do the daily activities. Those are common in our life. So every time you no need to explain all the things. So what you are doing today, you are also doing on tomorrow and day after tomorrow and so on. So to avoid this one, what you have to do is you have to write the functions. When you write a program, in some situation, you may require to use the same function multiple times. Then we have a problem. Example, I write a program to accept the information from the student. One student came to the college and asked me for admission. So I have given a form to him, he has filled up the form and submitted to me. Then again, another student came to me and asked the same thing. Sir, I have to join the college or school. Then again, I have to give the form and submit it. So what we are doing the same activity multiple times. So further to what you have to do, you have to write everything every time. So you have to, every time we have to give the form, every hour you have to fill up and everything. So to avoid this one, what we'll do is we'll write into the functions. So the function will call whenever you are required. So there is no specification that the time it has to come. So if you want to require every time it will come. If you want to require it often it will come, like that. So a function is a self-contained block of statements. The main advantage of using the function is we can call the function anytime, anywhere in the program. So generally, every C program contains at least one function that is called the main function. That is called the main function. Without the main function, there is no C program. Okay, this is called one of the main function in C program. Another thing, any C program may be divided into number of functions. So for example, I have written a program which have the logic about adding two numbers, multiply two numbers, division two numbers, finding the remainder and finding the quotient. I had different operations and a single program. If I make the program into the number of parts, that is for addition, one program, one logic at one place, and for subtraction, logic is at one place, and division at logic is one place. So what is the advantage of doing like that? Means anyone can easily understand the program logic. Because instead of seeing the complete 30 to 40 lines code, want to know about the addition, you will go to the addition block and will understand the code. You want to understand about the subtraction, you will go to the subtraction block and you will go to understand. So this is the advantage of writing the function. So when you write a program into the number of functions, it is easy to understand, it is easy to execute, and easy to understand by any people. If you write some code from my side and you are unable to read that code, you are unable to understand sometimes. When I write a code in a different frame that anybody can understand, that is an advantage of using the functions. So means any C program may be divided into number of functions that depend upon the programming logic. The programming logic is very high, we can change. So in example, I write a program such a way that if you choose the option 1, it will ask for the record of the employee. If you choose option 2, it will ask for the modification for the employee. If I choose the option 3, it will display all the employees information. So means that the operations are different. So for every operations, I will write different codes as a functions, and I will call these functions into my main program whenever necessary. In C programming, the logic of function execution is always from top to bottom. Why the top to bottom means first the main function will be executed. Then only it looks for the other functions which are under the main functions. Whereas in object-oriented programming like C++ or Java or Python, not like this. It will take the approach from bottom up. So it means whatever the inner level that will be executed first. So in C, a program is always execute from top to bottom. So first main function inside the another function inside another function and so on. So if you want to write a function, how can you write? And what are the different types of functions that we have? In C programming, basically functions are of two types. One is built-in functions. Built-in functions. Number 2 is user-defined functions. Built-in functions and user-defined functions. What are the built-in functions and what are the user-defined functions? Whenever you install the C programming language, along with the installation, you will have some functions. Those are called the built-in functions. The functions which are coming along with the software are called built-in functions. So where can we know the functions? Then these functions are always in the files, header files. All the built-in functions are stored in header files. So that's why when you write a C program, we start with #include stdio.h. Means stdio.h means standard input output header file. So what is the advantage of adding these header files? Means every header file contains some built-in functions. Whenever you include those header files into your program, you are able to use those functions in our program. That's why we always give preference to #include stdio.h. So what are the stdio functions here? Printf, scanf. Printf, scanf are the standard input and output functions. The same way you have different kind of functions. Mathematical functions, string functions, character functions, and so on. So these are all the built-in functions. So functions which comes along with the software. are the built-in functions. Those are always in header files. If you want to use those built-in functions, you must have to include the header files into your program. Some built-in functions may have the parameters, some built-in functions may not have the parameter. What is the parameter? We'll discuss in the next topic, next section, you can understand easily. So built-in functions are the functions which are available along with the software, and those functions are in the files, header files. We have standard input output function, mathematical functions, character functions, string functions, and etc. Okay, if you want to utilize the function into the program, we have to include them into the header files. They may have the parameters, they may not have the parameters. Let us see few functions which are comes into the built-in functions category. Example, stdio.h files. Example, printf, scanf. When you go to another thing that is called math.h, it contains power of m comma n, square root of n, etc. C type dot h, so means a character type. So here is alpha, is control, etc. String dot h, strlen, string length, strrev, string reverse, etc. So these are the few only. You have multiple functions. Yeah, I'm telling you only the few functions here. So we can use, we have so many header files, standard library, std, lib.h functions are there. We'll use along whenever we are going to the program in depth, we'll use every header files. So up to the string functions, we'll use this one. When you go to the further topic like pointers, then we'll use another functions. When you go for the dynamic memory allocation techniques, we'll use different functions. So these functions will be useful according to our requirement. So whenever our logic requires those functions, we will include those header files into the program. So let's see the programs that are based on these kind of 4 built-in functions one by one. Control N. So let's see the one by one functions. First, mathematical functions. This is common, stdio.h, printf and scanf. And along with this, we'll use another function, another header file that is called math.h. Then you start the main function. Inside the main function, we have to write. So what are the different types of functions we have? We have a ceil function. Let's see. I will first explain, then I will put for some functions, some mathematical functions are ceil. Ceil is one function, floor is one function, square root is one other function, pow means power is one of the function, and ABS means absolute value is another function. So these are 5 functions. What is the seal? What is the floor and square root, power, and absolute value? Seal is nothing but when you give any decimal number, example of 12.25 or 12.75, whatever it may be, it will always take the highest integer, highest nearest integer. So for example, if I give 12.24, what is the highest integer? Not, don't see the lowest side, highest side. Then you will get the output as 13. If I give the number, for example, 6564, so 12.66, even though I will get 13. Because sealing means is always look upside, not downside. So it means the nearest positive integer for the decimal points. So when you go for the floor, for example, 3.34 will give the answer result as a 3. Even though if you give, for example, 3.99 also, it will give 3. This is called the floor. I think you are already aware about the square root clearly. The square root of 16 will get the answer as 4. What is the power? Exponential values. For example, power values. For example, 2 power of, we have to pass the 2 parameters. Example, we use the power of 3 comma 3. What is the result here? Means 27. So 3 into 3 into 3. So what is the absolute value here? Absolute value means the positive value of the given number. We are already aware that an integer can accept the negative values or positive values. So if I give the positive value, it will be the positive value itself. If I give the negative value, it will convert into the positive value. So this is all the mathematical functions. We give, for example, 12.33 or 12.4, I will get 12.44. Even though you give the negative numbers, it will convert into the positive numbers. So first I will do one by one function. First, the first function is seal. So for seal, we have to give the floating point number. So float a, printf, enter a number. Ampersand a. So I'm taking the value for a, and immediately I am displaying the value. For example, percentage d, comma. What value have to seal? Seal of a. Seal of a. So means after this, what we'll do? First, it will ask for the number. If you give that number, a decimal number, floating number, it will display its integer values, nearest integer values. So here the float number, we have to give the percentage of, save the file, math functions. So I forgot to mention double quotes here. So
Sir, I can't see the.
And see, 1 second, 1 second. Are you able to see now?
Yes, sir.
So see, enter number 3.67. I will get output as 0. Why it's 0? Let's see. I have. So 3.44. When you give the 3.44, it results the 4. So it means even though you are giving the decimal point which is below 0.5 value, means 3.4. For a 3.01 also, it will goes to 4. .01, even though it will goes to 4. So next function is about seal value, percentage of floor of it. So I'm displaying the seal value and also the floor value. Compile it. So example here, giving the value of 2.11. Seal value is 3 and floor value is 2. So upper bound and lower bounds. So seal is over, floor is over. Next one is the square roots and powers. Take another number here. Let us suppose, for example, n. So here I'm asking input for n also. Enter n value. And percentage d, percentage f, ampersand n. Otherwise, if you want to take integer also, you can take, no problem. That's your wish. So now here I'm asking and third function, that is square root. Printf percentage of sp or t of compile. So first I have to enter the number. I'll take the first number as 3.11. So 3.11, and next it is asking for the value of n. Example 64. So I'll get 4, 3, and 8. 4, 3, and 8. So if you have get any doubts, you do one thing. Go to the next line. /n. So you'll get the correct output now. So 329. Okay. Next is about, I will take now it as an integer. It is the power. Already n value is there, and I'm using here m value. Otherwise, I will do directly n and m here itself. No problem. I will remove from here. I will take it as a d, and I'm inserting another value. printf power value. Enter power value. Scanf percentage d and percentage. Enter slash and percentage d comma power of n comma n. So here's the power of n comma n. So for example, n value is 2, n value is 3, 2 to the power of 3, that is 8. After the first logic, enter the n value, for example 4, power value 3. So why we have the output as 0. Something is wrong, I will check again. So the power of n comma m means n to the power of n. Okay. So the next function is absolute value. So an example, printf slash n percentage d comma abs of n, abs of n. Minus 12.4. So the absolute value is 12. So whenever you give the negative value, it will come to the positive value. There is some problem in the power, we'll check and confirm again. It's coming like this. Okay, these are all the mathematical functions. Now look into the next one. Those are called the string functions. So what are the first of all, what are the different string functions that you have? We have string functions. We have first of all str, len, that is the string length. Str, cpy, that is string copy. Str, cmp for string compare. Str, CAT strings concatenation strrev string reverse the string. So these are the functions that we have in the string side. And also str LWR converting to lowercase str UBR converting to uppercase. These are the string functions, various string functions we have. Let's see one by one. First, hash include stdio.h. Then we have to include string.h. I have a doubt here. Is there any problem if I include the file and not use it, the functions? For example, I have used the stdio.h string.h, but I did use the functions. No problem. If you want to use, you can use. Otherwise, you can leave it. No problem. Nothing happened even if you include the files also. So when you want to do the operations on the string, first we have to declare a string. How do you declare string? With the help of arrays, character array. So for example, char name of 20. So it creates the character array that is name with 20 character space. So you can able to enter up to maximum of 20 characters. So then I have to give the value for the string or the text for the string. Enter the name. Then enter the city name. Scanf. We already aware that the percentage used to take the scanf for character type string type. So percentage comma ampersand name. So it will accept the string. Next, first we have to find the length of the string. So printf length of the string is, so percentage D means the length will be displayed in the numbers. String percentage S. So first string will be displayed and its length will be displayed. So name comma strlen of name. Okay. So see, first compile. So it asks you to save the file. So strings functions dot h address and the program. Yes. Okay. I'll be back. So enter the city, for example, Hyderabad. So length of the string Hyderabad is 9. So this is how we can calculate the length of the string. So you can, if you want to calculate the length of the string individually also you can do without using functions also. We can also, earlier we have used it without functions, now we are using with functions. See, next one, the function is string copy. So it means that you have to copy a string from one array to another array. So if you want to copy from one array to another array, you have to specify the second array also here. That's why name one of 20. So because already we have name as array, now I'm taking another array that is with name one. So first I am taking content into the name array, name, then I am copying the content to the name one array. See here. Strings in percentage, strings in two arrays are percentages and percentages. So here name and str cpyr. So when you want to copy a string from one location to another location, you have to specify the destination and source. So destination means where you have to copy. Source means from where you have to copy. So here name one comma name. So what will happen? First, it will take the name one and copy the name content into the name one. Indian. The string in two arrays are Indian and Indian. So when you use without functions, after copying the string, we have specified ourselves as a null character at the end because we are writing in our own. So, but string function itself, it creates a null character at the end. That's why there is no need of creating the null characters here. So this is the way we can copy the string from one array to another array. So it means string copy, destination comma source. You have to mention like this, string copy, here name one is a destination array and name is source. You have to specify two parameters here. So here, sorry, we earlier discussed what is parameter. These are the parameters. These are the parameters. The values which we are passing to the functions are called the parameters or arguments. If you want to get something, you have to give something. If I want to find the length, I have to give the string. So what I am giving is the parameter. What I am giving the functions is to the parameter. So this is about the string copy. Okay. Next, string comparison. If you want to compare two strings, we have to take two strings as inputs. See example. Copy the same thing here and paste. Name one. So I have already taken name, now I'm taking name one. So what we have to do, we have to compare. So means when you want to come and you compare two strings or the any relation, what we have, whether we will get the true or false. So that's why I'm asking that if strcmp string compare of name comma name one. So means if I compare two strings name and name one, equal to 0, equal to 0 means that it will take the every character in the from the two strings and compare together. If all the string characters are equal, then the value becomes 0. When it will be become 0, we can say printf strings are equal. Else printf strings are unequal. So this is how we can use the string compare. Execute, compile. Problem. The second CDM. So I have to give if you want to compare two strings, I have to give two strings name. For example, I will give first letter as P. Now, according to the word point of view, both strings are equal. But as per the logic of the C program, those are not equal. Why? Generally, every character has an integer value. A has integer value, B has small a has integer value, small b has integer value. According to the ASCII value, we can also call it ASCII value, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. So it cannot able to understand the characters, the system. That's why it will convert the character into its integer values or the ASCII values. Then only it will compare. So here small p has some ASCII value and capital P has some ASCII value. Both values are not similar. That's why whenever the both values are not similar, it will result the output as 1. We can say the string comparison is successful when it is 0 only. So now I will get output that unequal. The strings are unequal. Why? I have specified the word problem in small letters in the first case. In the second case, first letter is the capital and remaining are all the small. So this is a problem to me. Strings in two arrays are problem and problem. Strings are equal. Why the strings are equal? No, it's wrong. Sorry. Strings are unequal. So this is how we can write equal to 1. So means if it is comparative when it is written 1, then it is equal. It is not written 1, it is unequal. So this is about the string comparison. If you want to compare two strings, what you have to do is you have to give input for two strings first of all. Then go to next one, that is string concatenation. String concatenation means combining of two strings. For example, I have like this name 1, comma name 2. Now what is my plan is it has a concatenation means combining of two strings. So here name 1 has to combine with the name. Name 1 has to combine, sorry, not required now, just remove this one. Here what I have to do is I have to add the content of name 1 to the name. So how do you like this? See. Printf concatenated string is percentages, comma, name, comma, strcat of name, comma, name. See an example, compile it. So, so first thing I'm giving as Indian, second one is nation, Indian nation. So string in two arrays are Indian and nation. Strings are unequal. And finally, concatenated string is Indian, Indian. So why it is Indian, Indian, not like this. Name, comma, name. Sorry. Sorry. We have here, see here. We have already copied name into the name one. So what happened in earlier function, we have copied the first string content into the second string. That's why this is also become as a Indian. So we'll do one thing. We'll hide this one. Let's stop the execution of this function. Now see, it will take name one and name two and go to here. It will not execute this function, string copy. Use /n for better outputs. So here, strings are unequal, concatenated string is Indian nation. Earlier it won't come because we already used the string copy function earlier. That's why the string 2 is replaced with the string 1. Sorry, string 1 is replaced with the string 2. So this is how we can get the string concatenation. Next one is a string reverse. Next one is a string reverse. I will use here only before concatenating itself. Otherwise, if you want to use here, you can use, no problem. Printf /n reversed string is percentage s comma strrev of. So see here one by one. According to the first statement, we are taking name and name one and comparing. If is both are equal to show. If it is not equal, it will get a message that unequal. Next we'll go to this function. This will concatenate. For example, Indian nation. So Indian nation will be added. Next strrev of name. So here specifying the string reverse of name. So what exactly have the content in this one? A name is Indian only, not Indian nation. Because previous function I had used a string concatenation. So string concatenation of name one means both are concatenated together. See what will be the result? So see, reverse string is Indian nation is reversed. Indian nation is reversed. Because before the function we have the string concatenation. Because of the string concatenation, now the string one become as a string one along with the string two. So now if you want to get the correct output from the string one only, then you have to hide this also. See, now execute. Indian nation. Strings are unequal, get and reverse string is nation. Okay, this is Indian is reverse. So this is where we can use the functions. string reverse. Next function, sir. We have few more functions, that is string lower and string upper. This is Indian nation. So strings are unequal. Reverse string is this one. Lowest string is this one. This string is. So if these are all the small characters, that's why I get the lower string. Let us see how we get different output now. Compile. Run. See. Sorry. In this I have taken combination of lower level and higher level characters. Sorry, lowercase and uppercase characters. Now see the output here. I will take this as a normal. Strings are unequal. See here. Even though I have specified here as two smaller, one bigger, one smaller, two bigger. Now it is converted completely to the lowercase and completely into the higher case. This is how we can convert the string from lowercase to the higher case. So these are all the functions that are related to the strings. We have the functions string length, string copy, string concatenation, string comparison, string reverse, string lower, and string upper. Now move to the last one, that is the character type, C type. So next functions are character functions. First function is alpha. Is alpha. So means that if you enter a character, it will check whether the entered character is alphabet or not. Is digit. Is means the alpha numeric. Alpha numeric. It may be the alphabets or it may be the numeric value. Is space. Have you entered the space character? It will check. Is lower. Is upper. Is X digit. Means hexadecimal. Is control. Is print. Is punctuation. Is graph. To lower. Upper. So these are all the character functions. See here, when you enter a character, it will check one is the alphabet or the digit or the alphanumeric, or have you entered the space or is a lowercase, is in lowercase, or whatever the character you have entered, whether it is a lowercase or uppercase, whether it is hexadecimal number, have you pressed the control key, have you pressed the print key, or the name function, press the punctuation mark, a single quote, double quote, like this. Punctuation marks is a graph or two lower or two upper. So two lower is two upper means if you enter the small character, you can convert it to the upper character. If you enter the small capital character, you can convert to the small character. These are all the various character functions. So along this, you have to use another file, which is ctype.h, character type.h. So I have to take single character, printf, enter a character, and percentage %c, comma, ampersand c. If you want to give, if you feel that it's get confused, you use d also, no problem. So here d is a variable of type character. It can store only one character at a time. Now try to write down the functions one by one. Printf is lower.
So you're not sharing the output.
I will share. So see here, I have entered a character D. I am getting the output that you have entered alphabet. If you execute the same program again, and give, for example, number 1, then get you have not entered an alphabet. So in the same way, you can use for is the digit also. So if you want to check is digit of A, so example, for example, I have entered a character, I'll get you have not entered a digit. For example, if I execute again and enter any number, we have entered a digit. So if you want to check whether entered character, so actually we are using the character variable, but we are able to enter the digits also. So it means the character variable can accept any kind of data here, example, but actually it will takes only the character type data, but the 4 here is not the value. The value of the character variable. We already told that every keyboard value have some integer value. A has some integer value, B has some integer value. In the same way, numerical numbers also have some integer values. It will take consideration as the character will take consideration the value only, the ASCII value only, not the internal integer value. Okay. The same way, take any kind of function. Is CTA control, for example, go for the control function. So you can change means control key. See here, I am not entering the value, but in keyboard I have pressed the control key. That's why I got a message that you have entered control key. See, next time you can see you are in, now you are able to see the input. See, U, otherwise 9, otherwise semicolon. But when you press the control, you can't see. But the value is entered, you have entered a control key. So this is how you can check the control key values. Same way E is lower.
Sir, I can't see output.
Yeah, I will change. Then you do one thing. We'll execute once again, control key. So here, enter, it is asking for enter a character. I am pressing the control key from the in the keyboard, but it will not display anything here because the control key doesn't display any values here. When you press enter, you will get the output as you have entered the control key. So if you execute the same program, if you want to check whether the correct output is not, so go here again and enter some character. For example, now I am entering some 7. Then I will get a message that you have not entered a control key. So this is how can you check that whether you have entered the control key or not. E is lower. E is lower means it will check whether the given whether a given character or number, whether a given character is in lowercase or not. See an example. I'm entering capital A. I'm entering the value capital A. Now what I have to display? Not lowercase. So here you have not entered the control key, but you have to message, you have to change the message. That's all. It is you have entered, you have not entered lowercase value. Not enter the lowercase value. In the same way, is upper. Is upper. For example, I am entering the small letters C. Now I get a message that you have not entered uppercase. If I enter in capital letters, I will get a message you have entered the uppercase. What happens if I entered an integer? Even though it message you have not entered the uppercase. So these are the functions that are used for the character type functions. These are all. So we have the character type functions are is alpha, is digit, is alphanumeric. Alphanumeric means you may enter the characters, you may enter the numbers. See here. Alpha. Functional. Let's see. Now we'll enter either the alphabets or the numeric key. Example 9. We have entered the alphabet. See, example, if I enter the character also, I will get the same message. So this is advantage alphanumeric. Whether you have entered the alphabets or not. Next one. Next one, that is punctuation. So means is space or is punctuation. You can take anything. we have entered punctuation. If I entered anything, for example, if I entered a space like, see, if I entered as a parenthesis, this symbol, we have entered the punctuations. If I enter the number, we have not entered the punctuation. So this is how we can get the. So these are all the different kind of character type functions. Character type functions. Now, let us see. I hope you understand about the built-in functions. Now let us have a look into the user-defined functions. So user-defined functions are nothing but the functions which are defined by our own. So you may create your own functions. I may create your own functions. According to the applications we are developing, we will use the user-defined functions. But generally, if you want to write any function, you can able to write the functions as a user-defined function in 4 ways. But before that, let us see what is the syntax for writing a function. If you want to write your function own, what is the syntax? First, you have to specify the data type. First, you have to specify the data type. Then you have to specify the function name. Then you have to specify the parameters list. Parameters list. Then braces start. Body of the function and close. This is how do you write a function. So first you have to specify the data type. So means that which data type value has to written by the function. So an example, when you write a function, it will return something. What type of data you want to return, whether you want to get the integer data as output, or whether you want to get the character data as output, or the string as output, as a float as output. This is what we have to know. That is called the return type. The function name specifies what is the name of the function. Means that if you write a logic, if you have the same function name, it will get difficult to understand. So according to our logic, you have to decide the function. What if you want to do addition function, or the multiplication, like that. Then any kind of function name we can give, no problem. What are the parameters list? Parameters list are nothing but the values that we are passing to the function to execute. If you want to add 2 numbers, you have to pass 2 values. Those 2 values are called the parameters. And the body of the function means if I call that function, what it has to be done, what exactly it has to do. That is called the body of the function. So here the data type, we can also, this is like a return type. We can call this a return type. So it means that what exactly I want to get back from the function. And the function name, what name should be for the function. And the parameters, what value I have to pass the function to get the exact output. And the body of the function is nothing but the code or the statements that have to be executed when I call that function. This is the definition of it is the structure of the function. When you want to write these functions, which are the user-defined functions, we can write those functions in 4 ways. First one, let us see, these are the returns, return, and there is a parameter, return parameters. This is into, this is into, this is into, this is yes. Otherwise, we can say it is a, don't get confused. This is no. Let us see, this is no. And this is also no. This is no. This is S. This is S. This is no. So this is all about the writing, how to write the functions. If you want to write the functions, these kind of alternatives you can look for. First is, if you write a function, the function may not return any value, may not have the parameters. Chance is there. If you write a function, the function may not return the value. It will be executed, but it doesn't return any value, but it might have the parameters. Means that you need to pass something to the function, but it returns nothing to you, but the output will get anyhow. Third one, it will return some value, but I need not to pass the parameters. And finally, it returns the value and also need to pass the parameters. Simple. These 4 types we can write any program in using different functions. When you see any program, any large number of size of program is only based on the four categories. The first one is you may have you don't have the return type and you don't have the parameters. You don't have the return type, but you have the parameters. You have the return type, you don't have the parameters. Last one, you have the return type and also the parameters. So these are 4 cases can possible. So let us see the first case today. That is called doesn't have no parameters and no returns. See, we already discussed that we can write the function in this following format. This is the structure for creating the function. Okay. Now, how do you call the function? Means if you want to call the function, you have to specify the function name, and also the parameters. So these parameters are optional. If the function doesn't have any parameters, no required to ask. We have the parameters, you have to specify. And finally, this will stored in some variable. So means that whenever the function returns some value, that will be stored in some variable. So here this is also optional, because sometimes you may have the return, may not have the return. So here the storing into the variable and passing the parameters are both are option. So in that case, we will use just like this. How function name. Simple. So okay, if you want to write or if you want to create your function own, first you have to declare that function in the main program. Means that how the function appears. So how do you declare that declaration of function? How do you do like it? So in the main program, you have to specify structure. Means, for example, return type, function name, and this is nothing but declaration. This should be done in the main program, main function. So simple logic you have to remember. If you want to execute a function, first you have to declare the function in main program, in main function, whatever it may be. Main function is the first one. The second one, you have to write code according to the definition, and you have to call the function from main or any other function. Any other function. So simple. These things you have to remember. First, you have to declare the function, then you have to write the function, and finally you have to call the function. See how do we do this one simple example. Program on without return and without parameters. Hash include that hit main. Okay, hash include main. So first what you have to do, first I have to declare a function. Let us see, my function doesn't have any return type. I will say as a void. So void means it doesn't return anything. If you won't like to return anything, you have to specify as a void. Then the function name, for example, add. And my function doesn't have any parameters. That's the end issue. This is nothing but declaration of function. Okay, now this is called the calling of function. So here, before that, I will write something. Printf calling the add function. So simply how to, when I execute this program, first I will get a message that calling the add function. Okay. Then I have to write the function. So void. So outside of main, we have to write the function void add. Doesn't have any parameters. Now see, int a comma b, a comma b comma c. Printf enter values for the scanf %d, comma ampersand a, comma ampersand. C equal to a plus b. Printf result is %d, comma 6. So simply don't get confused here. See, this add function, what exactly will do? When I call this function add, it will declare 3 variables and take input for 2 variables and add those 2 variables input and store into the 3rd variable. And finally, when you see here, this function not returning anywhere. There is no return statement here. And it doesn't have any parameters in the brackets also. So that's why it's called without return and without parameters. See here, first, as per our logic, the main function will be executed. According to the main function, the function will be declared and I will get a message. And finally, the function will be called. Whenever you call this function, the control will automatically pass to the function. Where is the function here? Here, this function. And it will execute this complete function. And again, it returns to the main function. Okay. Now, if I execute this program, what will I get? It will ask for, first I will get a message calling the add function. Then I will get a message that enter value for A and B, and it takes two values for A and B. Sorry, I have mentioned, forgot to mention here, A and B, and finally to calculate the addition of the two numbers, and finally I get the C value. Okay, nothing more than that. See, I want to compile. First, I have to save the file. So without some functions one dots, let us execute, compile. No errors. Execute. See here, first I'm getting a message that calling the function add. So calling the add function. First is asking for A and B value. For example, I will get 12 and 15. The result is 27. Sir, what is the necessity of doing all the nonsense? We can able to write this code directly into the main program. Why are you use of this declaration part and calling part and all this nonsense? We can directly write this code into the main function. No problem to me. Oh, yes, you can write. But what is the problem is, if you want to execute it twice or thrice or 5 times, see an example. I'm writing this function. Again, if I call this function, again it's called this function. Again, it is called functions. See how many statements are there? Here main I have total number of statements are 6, and here as 5. Total number of statements are 11. If I specify only, if I write the entire code into the main program, then I have to use 4 times. The 20 lines I have to spend. So instead of spending the 20 lines of code, I am spending only the 11 lines of code. See here I am only calling for 4 times. If I call for 100 times, then I have to write the 100 multiplied by 5. That is 500 lines of code. So because of writing the program, we are able to reduce the length of the code. We can reduce the length of the code. So see here, the main program is looking very simple because it contains only 3 lines. And the function has the rest of things. In the same way, you can do many functions like this. This is the concept of writing the functions. The main advantage of writing the function is, when you write a function, when you write a program to number of functions, it is easy to understand. It is easy to find the errors. And we can call the function any number of times. That's why we write the functions. Instead of writing the entire program into the main program, main function, enter the logic into the main function, we will separate the logic into different functions. So this is advantage. If you call the same function next time, if you want to call the function 3 times, then you have a problem of length of the code in the main program. So here see an example. I will use add again and now compile and execute this one. So now it will ask for. So I will specify 12 and 6.
The output only.
Coming here. Okay.
Okay, sir.
12 and 16. I will get results told. Again, it is asking for the input again. See. So I am able to execute the same function for any number of times without writing the code again. So this is the advantage of functions. Once you write the logic or code, that code or logic can be implemented anywhere at any number of times. That is the advantage of using the functions. Okay, this is the end for today's section.